Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the November 14th Town Board Work Session agenda. Could we all please rise for the pledge to the flag? Luciana, would you lead us?
Absolutely. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if we could just remain standing for a moment of silence, having just come off of Veterans Day. Please keep in your thoughts and prayers, of course, all of our first responders, police, fire, ambulance that service us on a daily basis, but our men and women in the service who keep our freedoms the way we like them, because freedom isn't free. Thank you. Amen. Okay, I just have a few quick opening remarks. First of all, I want to thank all the people of the town of Yorktown who voted and put us over the finish line here. I greatly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. I won't let you down. So, just real quick on that, and I once again, I'm humbled, honored, and privileged to serve as your supervisor for another 2-year term. Thank you so much. We had a really good Veterans Day weekend. It was action-packed. We went to, let's see, where did it start, Ed? We started at the Country House?
Yep, we had the Country House. We had Jefferson Village, actually,
We had
Halloween.
that was Halloween Day. We had Jefferson Village. That was the Jefferson Village Veterans Club. That was a wonderful event. Then we had the Country House. We had the Vietnam Monument that we dedicated, and we're going to separate the Vietnam Monument and Korean War Veterans Monument. So it's going to be a Korean War Veterans Monument, and now we have the newly installed Vietnam Veterans Monument. The plaque on the Korean War Monument is going to be changed to indicate that. And then on after the dedication and the ceremony for Veterans Day, we had the Boys and Girls State. Now, Boys and Girls State is run by the American Legion Auxiliary, and these boys and girls, these students, are put through the tasks of speaking, of doing projects, of playing instruments, of being good Americans, and they're awarded, and some are even awarded with scholarships. So we were fortunate enough and honored to actually be there to give them some certificates of achievement and proclamations, so that they could move on to their college. This is similar to, let's see, how could I liken it? It would be similar to Eagle Scouts. So when you get your Eagle Scout, that is like a very prestigious thing that you carry with you for the rest of your life. It's like they say, once a Marine, always a Marine. Once an Eagle Scout, always an Eagle Scout. And it's this Boys and Girls State puts them a leg up for getting into college, for getting into military academies, and so forth. And I was very proud of the boys and girls that were awarded that. And if they're listening tonight, congratulations to you out there. And that's all I have. Now, Ed had a couple things that he wanted to bring up quick.
Absolutely. Real quick, a couple things. The Yorktown Lions have been doing a turkey drive. Want to give special thanks to our local stores, ShopRite, Giuseppe's, Acme, all helping with donations. But we will be out in front of Uncle Giuseppe's tomorrow, Wednesday, from 3 to 6, collecting turkeys for families in need. Our goal is 125 for St. Mary's. We have 60 going to the high school and middle school, and we're looking to bring in over 200 this year to help families in need. So if anyone wishes to participate, you can do that, or you could go on to YorktownLionsClub.com, and there's an online donation where we're turning around and buying turkeys at a really, really good price from Restaurant Depot on Thursday. Our final pickup will be on Monday at the gazebo, our final drop-off, and I believe that's 10 to 2 at the gazebo, and we'll once again be turning those over to the local food banks. And then the other thing, for those of you with teens, this Friday, the Teen Center will finally be able to reopen. They weren't able to the last couple of Fridays due to early voting and Election Day. Actually, I think that took them 3 out. But they have over 45 children registered already, or young adults registered. So it should be a great time for the kids to interact and have some one-on-one personal experiences with someone, rather than talking to them over a computer, playing PSP and doing what they need to do. So it'll be great, and all the costs are waived at this time for them. I believe they'll be serving pizza, beverages, snacks, all gratis. So it's going to be a great time. It's this Friday, the 17th, at the Albert A. Cappellini Community and Cultural Center. I believe 6 to 9 is the time, but you could find the Yorktown Teen Center online to verify that, and if you want to get pre-registered, you could go on there. Thank you, Tom.
Oh, you're welcome, Ed. And I had forgotten to mention my good friend Senator Murphy's Turkey Trot on the 23rd, starting at 8:30 a.m. on Front Street in Yorktown, right here. All proceeds from this event will support St. Mary's Food Pantry in Mohegan Lake, St. John's Food Pantry in Mampac, and United for the Troops, one of our favorite, all of which are our favorite some of our favorite organizations. Last year, this event raised over $11,000 to be split between them. So if you can get out there and walk or run for this turkey trot, it's really a pretty good time. So I just wanted to bring that forward. Okay. And that's all I have for that. Okay, going into our open session. Before we start, I should say, going into our open session, Sergio, both Sergio and I were very touched during the Veterans Day ceremony. Mrs. Whalen was there, front and center, showing her patriotism, and she had her good-looking husband's picture in there. That was when he was in the military, right? Okay, and we have a little proclamation here for you, and like I say, we were all touched by your patriotism, the love for your husband, who had passed away a couple of weeks ago at the age of 99. So Sergio's going to read that proclamation.
Why don't you guys come up to the podium?
Is she mobile enough to? I think so. Okay. Are you okay? Need a hand? Yeah.
I'm not going up the steps.
No, I don't blame you.
Right there.
And if you could hold the picture towards us so we could see it, your husband's picture.
Well, you saw it on
I know
the-
I
No, for
did,
the
but I want the
camera.
camera to
Oh,
see
you
it so we could share it.
the
Tom,
camera.
This was him at 18.
Tom, could
Aw.
you get that, Tom? Thank you, sir.
Tell us a little.
He has it on camera, so everyone could see your husband. A
Where do
very,
I go?
very.
Just
that's
like
good.
that.
You're
Like
That's
that?
great. Yep.
very handsome in his Navy uniform.
Mrs. Whalen, tell us a little bit about your husband.
He was a wonderful man. He passed away 2 weeks ago, okay? And every Memorial Day and Veterans Day, the two of us come to the wonderful memorials that you people have. This year, my daughter always came. This year, she came with me because I don't drive anymore. And I was hoping they would have announced his name then. But then when they explained why,
It's okay.
when they were dedicating the memorial to the Vietnam veterans, I understood. But still down deep and deep, I understood, but I also felt for the veterans of World War II, which my husband was, and the Korean War. He was a torpedoman first class those years, okay? And I wanted his name just to be mentioned now. here I am on camera. This is very, very difficult for me, believe me. But Sergio offered this for me to come tonight at 7:30 not to explain, but to show my husband's picture. And he died at 99 years old.
God bless.
Yeah, 99.
Wow.
And he died, like I said, 2 weeks ago. And I do miss him, but the Yorktown people loved him, all the stores, my neighbors. I got such wonderful neighbors, that call me and send me cards. But I miss him, but I just wanted for him to be honored along with whoever else was there, because my husband is the last of the greatest generation of people that I know. All of our friends are gone. They're all up there now celebrating together, which is good. And I thank the board, and especially Sergio, for giving me my 2 cents here tonight. And like I said, it's very difficult for me to do this.
You did
But
a good
I'm
job.
doing it for him.
Oh,
He's probably going to kill me when I get up there.
That's right. That's right. He's going to say, "Why did you embarrass
that's
me
all
like
right.
this?"
That's all right.
That's all right.
He knows I mean well.
We have
Growing up with him all those years, I've learned so much.
yeah.
And they never talked about what they did over there.
Nope.
Not at all. Not at all. He saw a lot of awful things. And I think of the young men and women that are out there today doing what they do today. My heart goes out to them, and I pray for everybody. All right, well, that's it.
Well, don't go anywhere
Yeah,
yet.
don't
Oh,
go
that's
yet.
not it. I
Because
can't
we-
sit down and go home now.
Not
I
yet,
watch
No,
it on
not yet.
television. You look good for real. Nice.
The supervisor, Tom Diana, saw fit. He wanted to do something a little extra than bringing you up
This is
here.
extra.
So we have something, and he actually asked me to read it to you, which I'm honored to do.
Okay,
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. This is in memory of Robert James Whalen. Whereas it is fit and proper to recognize the achievements of those individuals who substantially contribute to the vitality of our community and United States of America. And whereas Robert James Whalen was born in Chatham, New York, to Ethel and Sebastian Whalen on September 17th, 1924. And whereas Robert Whalen was a U.S. Navy veteran of World War II from 1942 to 1946, and the Korean War from 1951 to 1954. And whereas part of Robert's service was as first-class torpedoman on the USS Gatling DD-671, which he said was some of his best years. And whereas Robert Whalen was a kind, loving, and generous husband of 68 years to Mary Lou, Pop to Patty and Dennis, Linda, Pop or Snake to Lauren Henry, I didn't know if I got that wrong, Melissa, Dylan, Mega, and Colin, and great-grandpop to Brooks, Robert, and Charlotte James. And whereas Yorktown Heights was his home for 66 years, where he was also a parishioner of St. Patrick's Church. Commuting to Manhattan, Robert worked at New York Central Railroad, Union Pacific Railroad, and North American Phillips Company. And whereas, after retiring in 1993, he volunteered at Northern Westchester Hospital for many years. And whereas Robert will be remembered for his wonderful sense of humor, meticulous lawn, manicured hedges, flower gardens, and most notably, his service to this country. And now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Town Supervisor of Yorktown, that's you, Tom?
That's me.
Thomas P. Diana, along with the Town Board, members of Yorktown, do hereby offer our thanks and appreciation and recognize the accomplishments of Robert James Whalen.
Thank you very much for that.
Okay, we're going to bring this over to you, and we're going to take a picture.
I can't get up and take it.
No, we're coming to you.
But thank you.
Come to you. Don't.
I didn't expect all this. This is very hard for me. You know? Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Thank you. Thank you so much, and thank you for letting, let this happen too.
Was happy to let this happen.
Yeah, thank you so much, I appreciate it. And of course,
you are,
to the
dear.
show. Yeah, you're red as a pituitary. It's nice. Yeah, nice. Wow, that's nice.
Let's grab a quick picture. We'll get you and your husband in the newspaper.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah, why not?
What newspaper?
New York
New
Times.
Yorktown News? Oh, all right, I got
Let's
that.
turn this
So
way.
where do
Can I
I?
move this
This
out of
is
the way?
very nice. I'm not used to being on a spotlight.
No, no, you're good, you're good.
Okay, stand right here in the middle.
Where do I do? The picture?
Yeah. You can do the picture. The picture's more important. Your husband was a great man. He deserves this.
You're quite brave.
Ready?
And he missed going too.
All right.
Thanks for reaching out, everybody, really, okay? Thank you so much. You guys, the gals are great, nice seeing two gals, three gals already now. Thank you again. And thank you, as always. And thank you. And thank you again for letting me have it.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna bow out now.
Is it? Oh, okay. We thought you were gonna hang. We thought you were gonna hang out with us. No. Okay.
But thank you for the,
No dancing tonight.
everybody, so
Thank you.
Nice.
All right. Great man. He's a great man. You're gonna take her dancing now? Okay. Go out there and cut the rug. And we're joined here tonight with our Yorktown Accessibility Committee, Kathleen and Thomas Panic. And hello, Bill. How are you? Good, good, good. So we're here for a discussion on the areas of accessibility improvements that are up on the screen. And I guess we have Kathleen and maybe Thomas. You want to come on up to the mic? Do you need a hand or you got it?
Mr. Peterson's here. Oh, Mr. Peterson.
Yeah, can I grab an elbow, do you mind? Sure. Thanks. Okay, the mic is right here, okay.
Everything's on the screen.
Yeah,
You can see?
yeah, I can't see it, but we'll work it through
Okay,
it together.
all right, sounds great.
So both Kathleen and I chair the Accessibility Committee. The committee was originally established to help make the town more accessible. And really accessibility means being able to provide everyone with better access and equal access to the wonderful things that we have as a community together. But it's not just geared towards people with disabilities. By making the town more accessible for people with disabilities, you're also making the town more accessible for everybody. So we appreciate the leadership, Supervisor Diana, in allowing us to continue to work with the committee. We do have a few other committee members that are part of our committee. I'd like to recognize one committee member that has served and has since resigned, and that's John Agnew. Thank you for serving with us. I think we did a bunch of site visits, and we're going to go over the visits today and some of the recommendations.
Okay.
And also, we have really taken our time and been very thoughtful about our approach. It's been a pleasure working with the committee just to identify some of the areas of need, and we'll continue to make recommendations to the town where we believe we would like some thinking around making things more accessible. As was aforementioned, for our veterans with disabilities, and people generally, as we age, we all need a little bit of help getting from place to place and making things like the ball fields and the theater, as well as other areas more accessible, helps us all. And I'll turn it over to Kathleen to go through some of the recommendations of the committee.
Thank you, Tom. So you can go first one.
Which one?
The one before that, yeah. So as Tom was saying, this is our committee. Liz Anderson is here tonight, and Eric Peterson. And John Agnew is since resigned. But we were formed in 2022, and our, the vision was really from the town council and also from town supervisor Matt Slater to have Yorktown be more accessible and inclusive, help identify physical barriers for disabled residents, and craft more inclusive policies. Go ahead. So the first thing that we did, and we've actually been pretty busy since 2022. The first one we did was we went to look at the Yorktown stage, and this is before they actually did the renovation. So we, when we met, we provided really great feedback to the theater, providing them with recommendation in terms of how to make it more accessible, more inclusive to everyone. So in terms of areas that we noted when we were there at the Yorktown stage, were that the bathrooms needed to be more, updated. Some of the bathrooms, one of the bathrooms, didn't have enough space, and it really needed to have a bigger sink. So those recommendations that we had. Handicap seating was located all the way in the back beforehand. We needed to really change that to be a little bit more in the middle, and that did happen already. Out of the 543 seats, there was only 2 seats in the theater that were handicapped, and we needed to at least have 4, which that already happened as well since the last year. We did notice that the ramp is not up to code, so we're suggesting that the ramp be up to code and also have maybe some rails on the side to help anyone who's going down and he needs some assistance with the rails. There was a suggestion also to eliminate 3 or 4 seats to gain more space, which that was already done when they implemented the new seats, was that they eliminated some seats to be able to make it a little bit more room for those that were handicapped to get in and out. And the other thing was that we suggested also that on the seats, that there'd be a little bit of raised plates on the side, on the hands, with textile for those who are visually impaired, that they can be able to feel, where they are in terms of the seating and the number. So let's say, for example, in a theater, they have numbers or seating letters,
on the
so that way they know where they're going and where they're gonna be seated. So just to have that textile, right, Tom?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
We also went to look at the John Hart Library, and that was March 6th. Yvonne wanted us to go over there, take a look, because she did receive a grant, a state grant, and the plan was to expand some of the library into certain rooms, smaller rooms. According to her, libraries change over time, and now people don't want to be all in one area. They want to be separated in different rooms because now there's audio, so they want to be more private. So she spoke to us because she wanted to get recommendation in terms of how to make those rooms ADA compliant. So we provided some suggestions. She also requested that the accessibility committee, provides any kind of policies once her library is renovated. She wants us to also provide that feedback. So one of the suggestions there was because of the rooms, they're going to be separated. They also want to put glass in the room so that way people can see what's going on in those rooms in the library. They don't want to close them out because who knows what's going on in those rooms. You want to be able to see what's going on inside the room. So she wants to put glass on those rooms. But what was happening was there's some ductwork needed to be done in terms of the height and the way the room project was going to be laid out. The elevator needed to be updated. According to her, it's really old and it needs some updating work. And also, she wants the downstairs in the basement, there's a community room, and she wants that community room to be accessible to everyone, inclusive. But there is an area in the floor where it's kind of leveled up. It's bulking, and it's not really safe for wheelchair accessible people to go there. And she's also seeking, volunteers to help out in these projects. So that's the discussion that we had at the library. The other thing we went to do is we went to see the Prospect Theater. The Prospect Theater is a theater that's in Ridgefield, Connecticut. It's a state-of-the-art theater that's very inclusive and accessible. Everyone there who works there has a disability. people who work there. And they have certain things that we thought were really interesting. We wanted to go see how it looks like, what's the feel for it, and what kind of accessibility do they provide. So not just the theater, but also in Ridgefield as a town, it's very accessible to people with disabilities when they're going shopping, or when it had to do with the streets levels and things like that. So when we went there to Prospect Theater, we saw that they have live captioning. It's kind of like also the Jacob Burns Theater. When you go there, they do have live captioning with when there's kind of a movie or presentation or an event. Those who are deaf or hard of hearing able to utilize that. They also have an application that's called Good Maps. This application, anyone with a disability can put it on their phone. It's a way of identifying and seeing where things are in the theater. Where's the bathroom? Which theater are you going into? That theater actually also has a restaurant, or kind of like a bar. And it also has a place where they sell popcorn that people with disabilities have made. And so they do have this application, and it's all computerized and incorporated into the map of the theater. So that was pretty neat to see that. Also outside, they have various handicap spaces. And also there are certain areas where marked spots for handicap vans, when they're coming into the parking lot, they're designated for those who are being dropped off and picked up. So we noticed that. That was pretty interesting and neat. And also, they do have signages for bathrooms that are universal. So those who are, cannot see, they can touch and be able to identify where they're going in. So recommendations that we had was, that the Prospect leadership team, because they have such a great system there and a good model, that maybe they want, come and visit the John Hart Library and make some kind of recommendations for accessibility of the facility. And, trying to think of Ridgefield, Connecticut as sort of like also a model for accessibility as a town. You can go next. So the other area we went to see was the commuter parking lot, and that was the one with the 3 ball fields.
Is Eric?
Yeah, Eric is here.
Eric, do you want to come up for a second?
He's a guru with this.
He's a baseball guru. Mets, sorry for the Yankee fans in the room, but Eric, you want to
So
speak to it
you
a
want to
little
tell
bit?
the town in terms of what you do with the Mets?
Sure. So my day job, I work in accessibility and ticketing with the Mets. Baseball is very near and dear. I also coach within Yorktown, so I know one of the areas that we looked at was the 202 fields and the accessibility of the fields there. Right now, there's not really a good way if someone's in a wheelchair or has difficulty walking to actually get up to watch games there. There's one parking lot across from the church where there's a bridge and kind of a long walkway to get up that's not accessible. And then the other side where the computer lot is, it's a pretty steep drop, also very difficult to move there. And the fields are used not only for baseball, but soccer, other events throughout the course of the year. So figured that would be a good area to start to look at. So we did give a look at the commuter lot. It has been some time since that lot was marked out. So recommendation there would be to maybe look at that lot, either repave it or repaint the lines so it is a little more laid out for folks to park there. The other lot on the other side isn't paved, so there are signs for the accessible spaces there, but they aren't marked, so it could possibly cause some confusion. In looking at it, I don't know if we can go to the next slide. We have some pictures and kind of bounce around. So these are from the top of, I guess if you're looking at the fields on the left-hand side. So I believe this is field 1 down in the corner. Our recommendation would be to look into the feasibility of maybe adding some parking spaces off of Route 202 on the bottom that would be accessible so folks would be able to get to the fields. Seeing the layout on the other side, it would be a little difficult to put or to have any kind of accessible feature there without some kind of a switchback ramp or something that would work with the grade of that hill.
It'd be more expensive too. So.
Correct. So part of that would be just kind of seeing the traffic study, the flow of traffic along 202. It is a busy road there, and what.
So you would have parking by field 3, the street side field, whatever, what do we call it? We call it the street field, right?
Correct, the road field, yeah.
The road field, right?
I mean, that seems like the best.
So like behind there, because there's a little gate entranceway there already.
Correct, yeah.
Yes.
So that seems like the best area, where we could get something there, and then off of that, you could then put an accessible route to go behind the field, so you can get to the larger field in the back, and then the lighted field in the corner.
If you come in that way, it's all
Your route.
flat.
It's all flat.
It's all flat that
Yeah.
side. This side, this is like not a hill, this is
The
a
other
cliff.
way, you have to, it's a long run by the lighted field, so it's a practical alternative solution if it's feasible on the traffic side.
This one we actually have looked at,
And we're on it.
and we're on it. The top one, we're actually going to make a switchback
You are?
to get down to that field.
Okay.
Just haven't got to it yet, but that is one
But
thing.
Dave the man knows about it.
Yep, and we're gonna do some cutting and some filling and putting millings down and rolling them probably in early spring, hopefully, if everything goes right.
Well, that would be the dream.
Yep.
Yeah, and the decline, Supervisor, we've also had that because the Parks Commission had gotten really heavy involved in it, because one of our reps also has, personal interest in it due to her son, and we were able to speak to Dave about how to get it so it doesn't have these steep holes and get it smoothed out. And as much as I understand about bringing people to the field in their, I don't know if cars and ball fields should be anywhere near each other. I mean, at this rate, you can't even trust a restaurant and a parking lot together. But however, I do love the idea of getting them to park where there's existing parking and have the comfort of being able to come down. And like the supervisor said, that has been definitely something on the
It's a great thing, not only for people who need the assistance, but also for anyone who's using a walker or might want to get down there in a safe manner.
Because
So-
the entrance on the other side where the roadside field is, coming in would be fine. I don't know how you would merge, because it's
Back on the
not,
202.
yeah, because it's like just like a 90-degree turn to get
Right.
to,
But we
so,
are,
but that's great.
yeah, that's something that we've been working on and trying to get we've done some shots out there with elevations and so forth, so. We know what we have to do, it's just a matter of now getting it done. And we're actually gonna make a path all the way around to the other field,
The other field.
which will be rolled, rolled millings. Now, the great thing about millings is that the millings are the old blacktop. As soon as the sun hits them, they almost turn back to blacktop again, and it becomes a pervious, hard surface. And this isn't something that's going to be plowed or anything like that. So once they get warm, it's kind of like putting down another layer of blacktop. But the good thing about them also is that you can put blacktop on top of them. So as time goes on, maybe we'd be able to get blacktop all the way around.
Top of the millings.
Right.
Well, even better outcome.
Exactly.
Thank you, Kathleen. Thanks, Eric.
Great, yep.
Okay, could keep going. So we also want to identify what our future plans are of the committee. And that's we want to be able to do more consistent meetings, as well as add 2 more new members. And also one of the things that we, was recommended beforehand was to have an interpreter, like maybe an ASL interpreter to be provided at the board meetings itself. Keeping in mind that at least you would have to have at least 2 if you do go that route. Usually when they do like an hour, 2-hour meeting, usually it's 1 person per hour. Yeah. So, and we're open to any other suggestions by the board or
We're
any
looking for
concerns.
steak and lobster dinner, okay, at the meetings, if that's a possibility. Summertime be barbecue, all right?
Sounds
But no, I'm only kidding.
I do have a question.
Sure.
And Eric, you're gonna have to come back up because I have it for you. Or anyone who has information.
Come on up, Eric.
Come on up. So what about, and I hear a lot of this, and I get it, but what about like neurodiversity and like ableism, where it's not just about being able to use our senses, it's also how we're processing things and how some of our children are living. I see that we're making space and we're making more and more spaces for the things that we can see, but what about the disabilities that we can't see? I'm curious if the accessibility committee is looking into it.
So we missed something out at our future plans.
Yes.
And Liz
so
can talk about
it's
that.
something that I'm working to design. So,
You want to introduce yourself, Liz?
hi, I'm Liz.
Hi, Liz.
So Matt Slater and I actually came up with this concept when
Liz, you need to step up to
Oh,
the mic.
sorry.
That's okay, we're gonna get yelled at by the man behind the curtain.
So Matt Slater and I actually, he brought this to my attention when I was brought onto the committee, making sensory boxes along the community. So some type of textile type of boxes to engage the kids in the community with the neurodiverse things that you're describing, actually. So making it where, let's say, you know, the Trailside Cafe, having like a little table there, but also ADA accessible for anybody that has a wheelchair, just to have some type of activity to keep their minds going, but also give them an opportunity to get rid of anxiety.
Yeah, to co-regulate at some
Yes.
level. So my curiosity also, because this is also a big passion of mine, is to bring more awareness. It's great to build the boxes. It's great to have but is the accessibility committee interested in possibly hosting either like Zoom information centers or like an understanding what that actually is, so that there is more safety and awareness as we're fixing our curbs, as we're widening our walkways, as we're putting sensory boxes. It's like, I know that I'm training my, I have to go to trainings for these things, but I'm also teaching my kids why they're there, right? Just like I say, don't touch what are they, the scarecrows that the Boy Scouts or the Girl Scouts made because it's someone else's property and it's their work of art. There's a level of awareness. So maybe that child, we shouldn't talk as loud as Lou talks. So like, maybe we should be a little bit more mindful. And I love that. I always feel the world loves to move forward on like, we're gonna fix it. And then there's like a bunch of people that are like, I don't know what you're fixing. I have no idea what you're fixing. And I'm always so curious about how do we slow down and like, as we're building these beautiful blocks of what you're building, it doesn't shift, but it allows people to expand, whether it's with their like mindset or their awareness or their consciousness that this is happening, that we have, even with this whole thing with, the autoimmune diseases and things like that, like, you don't know. I wasn't supposed to walk when I was a kid. Like, you wouldn't know that. So you might ask me to run laps at a baseball game, but and some people don't want to tell people things. So I just feel like I love all of this, but I'm wondering like if we're going to do more education for the community. And that's why I was like, I know Eric has to like train teams of people, so I'm not asking you to be trained. I don't want another class, but I am always very curious because
I mean,
This is something we can go back and discuss as to how
Yeah.
that would look like. Definitely, could be through Zoom as an event, or possibly a fair or something where we have a disabilities awareness fair.
I just wanted to mention it because you did right.
That's
a very good idea.
Speaking to
Yeah, the
maybe having assembly.
PTAs, the SEPTAs, like, it doesn't only have to be, like, you don't have to only go to SEPTA to bring it. We're all community-based, we're all here for each other, so like, it should be more of an awareness on all counts. But when I saw that you wrote the add 1 or 2 members, I was like, hey, knock, knock, I know a whole bunch of other things that we can probably talk about.
Well, it's an excellent idea. I mean, we were tasked with physical accessibility.
I love that.
Exactly.
And I have plenty of
think
stuff to donate if
we
you
made
need
some
it.
recommendations.
Okay, perfect.
Believe it or not, out of all the recommendations we made, we had action on almost all of them. The theater, the baseball field, we had action on those. The library made progress. So we're really grateful for the town board's attention to accessibility. And I think we have a couple things to just be grateful for. And then, should we be tasked with looking at beyond physical accessibility, I think the committee would be very interested in having a member or two nominated to the committee to join us that has expertise in that area, and I think we would welcome that discussion.
How often do you guys, oops, sorry, how often do you guys meet?
We meet once a quarter at a specific location, so far for assessment.
Okay.
Who's the liaison?
To your committee.
I was to one. I think that was during the summer, right? Was that?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm due. I'm due to come back for the next one.
Love having Tom with us, so thank you for that.
And I just want to applaud and thank you, folks, for what you do. Eric was up at the adaptive playground with me on that one day. And you know what? It's always, you think you see it all until you put another set of eyes on it. And we didn't think about this, but if a parent in a wheelchair or that wasn't mobile, but let's say a wheelchair, had to let their smaller child into the playground, they couldn't do it because the latch was too high. We didn't think of that. So what did we do? We lowered the latches a little bit. Something as simple as 4 screws made it much more accessible for them to get in. We opened up different gates so that there was accessibility from either side, not just 2 ends. And so that they could go to, so that everybody, it was accessible because of the ramps we put in by wheelchair. But now a mom or dad that was wheelchair bound could go under the pavilion to get into the adaptive playground by the side, rather than having to wheel all the way around. God forbid their child fell and hit his head or her head or whatever the case may be. And we're moving forward with a sensory garden up there, and I believe we have some individual or an individual coming in who is a landscape designer for that type of thing, so that we can do this properly. They're out of Brooklyn. I actually met my wife and I actually met her at an event at Lyndhurst when I was down there for a T-Town gala. So she's going to be teaming up, and you know, with you folks here, it's great because I would absolutely love to have you involved with that.
Yeah, I was gonna
accessibility
say, when
guard.
she comes out, that'd be great.
Yeah, so that you can help us in designing some of that along with her. Very nice young lady. The other thing is that I was going down Route 118 here the other day, and I watched a gentleman who I know lives over in Beaver Ridge, and he was having trouble with the wheelchair on the sidewalk.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, this isn't good. So I got with our highway department, and they're going to put the grinder on one of their machines, and we're going to go out and walk it, and we're going to grind it so that it's a much easier transverse for the wheelchair to go up and down on our sidewalks. They've done that over in Shrub Oak at certain places because we have Wynwood Oaks over there. People and walkers were having trouble getting around on the sidewalks because they were pitted due to salt and cracking, et cetera, et cetera. And the highway superintendent, Dave Pagnelli, went over there and skim coated them for the time being with, blacktop so that they're able to walk on them. So many times people take for granted how difficult it is for mobility impaired individuals to get around. And Bill and Tom know how near and dear to my heart Guiding Eyes is, especially when you put all your trust into that four-legged beast that's in that harness. It's not until you put the blindfold on and you have him guide you around that you get a whole new aspect of life. And I thank you, gentlemen, for what you do over there, and I applaud you folks for taking the time out of your lives to help other people in such a manner. But, a lot of things that we do see, and we get on it, Government, unfortunately, sometimes moves a little bit too slow for the people that need it the most, but we move. So that's one thing that Highway Superintendent Pagnelli and I are going to work on is the 118 corridor, because the people do leave Beaver Ridge to go shopping. And, everybody says we want to make Yorktown walkable. Well, you can walk there, but it's real difficult to roll a wheelchair down there, especially these battery, motorized ones. So I just want to thank you folks for what you do, and I'm looking forward to the next meeting.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, we appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you all
Great
so
presentation.
much. Great presentation.
You need to look at the sidewalk by the gas station that we were signing in front of, because that's.
Where?
In the gas station, next to Papoose.
Yeah, all the sidewalks need to be we're actually,
The tree is like,
yeah.
Coming out of it.
Yeah, we're looking at sidewalks throughout town, replacement, curbing. You take that's part of the streetscapes thing that we had planned a long time ago. Remember, we all were sanding out there freezing. That's not dead. Our streetscape is going to be redone, or going to be done. We're going to get to the sidewalks, redoing certain portions, redoing curbing. You look in front of for our argument's sake, the Lakeland Deli. There's a curb there. That's a bad turn. There's a big chunk of curb that sits up on the sidewalk. That's unacceptable. And that's a place where people
Like
and
they
the
sit there,
kids
yeah.
sit out there and have their ice cream in the summer. I go there for breakfast every Sunday morning. And we sit outside, weather permitting. Now you need a fire. But we go there, we call it the Breakfast Club. But it's the things, the quality of life things that make this town so special, and we're going to get to them. We're going to get them done as
And
best
you'll
we
def-
can when we can.
And when this woman comes, you'll put them all. Do you know when she's coming from Brooklyn?
No, but I'm going to find out.
Yeah.
She's coming, and it's going to be relatively soon. So matter of fact, when you folks decide to have your meeting, if you could please let me know, and I'll try and get her up here at the same time. Maybe we'll do a site visit up to Granite Knolls, where the Sensory Garden wants to go. Is slated to go, because I think that it's a laudable cause that we do this for not only our handicapped individuals, but you have even your veterans with PTSD. You have people that go up there and just want to contemplate life for a couple hours, and maybe they want to look at some beautiful flowers or whatever we're going to be able to grow. It's challenging to grow things up there for whatever reason, right, John?
It's like the tundra.
Yeah, it's hot in the summer and it's cold in the winter. And it's cold in the summer and windy. But, we're going to get it done. We're going to figure it out. And the other thing that we're working on also is not only accessibility, but inclusion. The last thing that handicapped individuals want to be is excluded from different types of activities that the other kids or other adults are doing. They want to have the norm. And to be, I don't know exactly how to put this, to be raised in and out of a pool by a hoist has got to be embarrassing for them.
Are you okaying my open entry?
Let's not go there yet.
Okay,
Don't hold that.
I have a new plan for that pool.
It's.
But yes, you're right.
There's a lot of things that can be done differently, and with the inclusion end of it, and with things that we want to do here, make things more accessible for everybody.
And we get to also meet a new norm,
Yeah.
right?
Because-
it's not just all one way, right? So it's
Right.
as we make it more accessible and
Like-
more inclusive,
Like the
more
play.
aware, we become also more aware of our own stuff. So
This is something that I think is near and dear to everybody's heart here. We want to see we want to see everybody out having fun. I'll tell you, you go up to that playground up at Granite Knolls, it's packed with all sorts of children.
I was gonna say,
And it's even John goes up there and goes down the slide once in a while. But it's and you should see that site. But but it's and like I say, it's non-handicapped kids, it's handicapped kids. They have the one teeter-totter, I think it is accessible by a wheelchair, so he can get on that, or she can get on that particular thing and have a ball.
lots of coexisting.
And it's just it was one of the greatest things I think we've done in this town. I think it put us on the map a little bit to be one of those towns that does think of everybody, or we try to anyway. We're not always successful, but we try to be. And it was a great effort put in by a lot of people up there that made it what it is right now. But we are on leveling up some of the sidewalks in a short term. We want to make sure that people can get around. because even just walking sometimes is challenging on some of these sidewalks, so. All right. Anybody else have anything? Anybody like to say anything about our accessibility stuff?
No, I just think you guys have done, spectacular job. Your presentation was spot on. I think we had a few surprises for you guys too. So, it looks like everybody's on the same page. And that's a wonderful thing.
And sometimes we need a little nudge, and sometimes things in.
I thought he was talking about
You know,
me.
you've been
I
asked
thought
to
he was
leave
labeling
other
me the
places.
nudge.
Only him. Only him.
Just keep it up. The only way we get better is by keep moving forward.
Yeah, that's why they make a rear view mirror small and the windshield big.
You're stealing my lines.
I was going to take because I know you were going to say
But
it.
honestly, I always say we have to go up and out, up and out. Because if we just keep going up and forward, we miss a lot of the beautiful details. And then all the things you built don't work. So,
Yeah.
right?
So-
So there's got to be some sort of expansion.
Excuse me, officer. The gentleman in a green sweatshirt over here, a black sweatshirt with Yorktown on it, needs to be removed. He's getting out of control. Anyway, all kidding aside, no, we are on this, and anything you folks see, please let us know. If it's something glaring that we're not seeing, we'll get it done. That's what this board has been committed to. So that's that. That's all I got. How would we like to go into some resolutions?
Let's do it.
All right. All right. So for tonight, building maintenance, authorize the purchase of a Kubota utility vehicle from Westchester Tractor, Inc. This is going to be a vehicle that's going to be used to clean the sidewalks on and around most of our properties here and others with a snow blower also.
You'll be able to
attached
hold the
it.
plow, right?
And it'll be a no snow blower.
But he'll be able to hold it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah, it's a pretty good size unit. And that's moving money from the fuel oil to the equipment line. The comptroller, authorize the comptroller to process the following budget transfer. That's from medical insurance to medical lump sum. Authorize the comptroller to process the following budget transfer: general fund contingency and general fund to supervisor professional services for payment to Margaret Gasperning, human resources. Engineering department. Nope, I missed one. Authorize comptroller to process the following refund. And that would be to overpayment of a water bill. Engineering department, authorize comptroller to process the following budget transfer from salaries to overtime, $6,606.29. Authorize the funding for additional work on the courthouse plaza contract as set forth in the bid from Contech Construction, which approved by the town board on 11 July 2023. That includes additional curbing, sidewalk, and bluestone treads. The reason for that is the actual sidewalk from where they ended to alongside the back of the police department was a lot worse than first blush when we looked at it, cracking and once again trip hazards and or wheelchair accessibility couldn't be done.
And it was hollow, right?
And
It was like hollow inside. They were saying the curbside.
The curbs, yeah, they're like gone.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. And the bluestone treads are, we went with the bluestone treads rather than concrete. Concrete was there the last time, and of course, salt eats up concrete. So we figured let's go with the treads, and hopefully we do things once, we do things right, and that's it.
Yeah, because the treads are wider, so the joints are smaller, so water won't seep as much as it would if it was all in one piece.
They also look nicer.
Oh, they look beautiful. It's kind of like out front here.
He's fancy.
And then, let's see. So we're going to authorize, from the Highway Department, authorize the following bond release to Andrew Fior. Authorize another bond release to Pizzella Brothers. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to authorize the comptroller to process the following budget transfer for paving. That's $70,000 from highway fund balance to highway paving line. And then we're going for our planning department, authorize the comptroller to release a cash bond of $3,000 to DeVito and Son, Inc. That was for landscape plantings. And then Parks and Rec, we're going to authorize the completion of the DE, or diatomaceous earth tank resurfacing at the Brian J. Sylvan Aquatic Center. It's an $18,000 general fund to $18,000 pool facilities. When they got into the redoing the tank, they found more stuff than
We're
first
doing it right this time.
anticipated. We're going to do it once. We're going to do it right. The police department, we're going to authorize the comptroller to process the following budget transfer. Transfer from salaries to OT, $14,026. Refuse and recycling, to process the following budget transfer. It's for Westchester Solid Waste. And then the supervisor's office. I'm not authorizing anything. Oh, yeah, I guess I have to. Authorize the supervisor to sign an agreement with Business Electronics for servicing the Yorktown Police Department's voice recorder equipment. Then we're going to authorize the supervisor to sign an application grant, New York State 2024 Urban Farms and Community Gardens Grant Program, which would benefit Yorktown's Community Garden of Hope. The town board appoint Nizreen Kilroy of the building department senior office assistant manager. We're going to promote her to office assistant manager. And we're going to accept the retirement of John Batista from the police department, November 26, 2023. We're going...
Good luck to John. Sorry. Just came out.
Would somebody give me a gag for him, please? He needs it.
That's my job.
I got the gavel.
I'm supposed to be the
That's been done already.
Been there, done that.
Come on.
Reject the bid for...
That was bad. We were at the John Batista.
Did I say retirement? I'm sorry, not retirement. It would be the resignation of John Batista from our police department. Reject a bid for boiler maintenance and emergency on-call services. Authorize the town board to waive permit fees for Courthouse Plaza. And then we're going to authorize the following fees for cable casting. And authorized to extend service provided by Carl Vigilante for broadcasting services. Carrie, I'm sorry. And then from the town clerk, authorized the replacement of the heating and air conditioning system at the Archival Record Center. And that is a special unit because it also does the
records.
It keeps the records dry, moist. I guess there's humidification and dehumidifier, right?
It's like a sauna in there.
Make a motion.
Not right now.
Done.
But it will be
Are we done? All right, could I have a motion?
Motion.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor?
I said aye.
We're just double checking.
Okay.
Opposed?
Nope.
Okay.
Good night, Yorktown.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Have a good night, Yorktown.
Sweet dreams.